Okay, so it is Wednesday. I am recording with my podcasting mic because we are vlogging today. It is practice day. Don't mind the headphones and the hardware. We have some Bluetooth equipment coming this next week. But for today, I wanted to make sure that I got my thoughts in there. I wanted to explain what this vlog is about. And I wanted to explain in clear audio detail, basically what I'm trying to achieve today. So today is Wednesday. I want to get right to the meat of it, basically. I just finished my workout at EOS, and basically it's a simple workout, right? Using the foam roller, stretching out, getting my legs warm, pulling the sled for about 10 minutes, and doing about 10 minutes of my knees over toes workout. I have a lesson today with the head coach of UNLV, Mr. Gary Otis. Now, I've been working on and off with Gary for about 2 years now. And I would say he has been the number one influence to me as far as just understanding my ball motion, my wrist positions, and just having the confidence as a bowler that wants to get to the next level. So basically today I'm taking you through the lesson between me and Gary Otis. And throughout the lesson, I'm going to kind of just give you feedback, thoughts, whether it's thoughts after the actual lesson or thoughts in the moment. I can do a voiceover and kind of just explain that to you guys in the moment. So I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. This is the start of it. Hope everyone has a happy Wednesday. Here we go. So we are here now at Velocity Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you don't know where it is located almost right next to Stoney's on the backside of the mall, on the south end. Basically, if you're looking to get some practice in, they got sport patterns here. They got house shot. They got basically any pattern that you want to put on, they can do it for you. Talk to the lane man Herb here and he will make that happen. But basically today, what we are working on, we're working on my two-handed game along with just my no thumb and the release. Just focusing on the release, trying to get my shots as consistent as possible. It's a little windy out, a little gloomy today, but we're making it happen. So here we go. All right, guys, so we are here today at Velocity Bowling Center. I'm Marshall. I'm with Coach Gary Otis from UNLV. Gary, I'm working on a couple things with my release. Is there anything you could think of right now that you maybe will have for me throughout the practice?
Well, one thing is just to be able to make sure that we're consistent, and just be able to watch a physical game, make sure that we're not, sabotaging whatever it is that we need to be doing out on the lane.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna work on it and we'll be back. So as we were getting set up to bowl, Gary just wanted to kind of show me an example of how he really wanted me to focus my forearm and wrist and just making sure that I followed through in the proper way. So we have Gary kind of basically doing that right here. And as we transition into the warm-up part of our practice session, I am just making sure that the approach is approachable. We don't want to have any falls. And I am just playing it right tight, just finding out where that hook is. And the first shot, we kind of know. So now we're kind of looking at it, seeing where we want to adjust. Again, I'm using this time here to go through a couple different balls to see what they each look like on this particular fresh pattern to decide where I'm going to kind of start off and which ball I'm going to use as my starter ball as we begin the lesson. Something I've been trying to incorporate is starting more right and moving left, so I make sure I don't walk into my swing. I know that sounds really quirky, but if I start way left, I end up right. So I have to start and get things going this way and then just finish how I finish. If you want to break that and fix it, that's fine. I'm just explaining to you.
Well, if you want to put this on your audio, the main thing in the beginning, a lot of times when you first get out the shot, you're trying to figure out how to play the shot, so to say. So a lot of times, a lot of players will just go to their normal starting spot. They're in the middle of the lane. They'll throw the ball out to the right, and it's supposed to be coming back. If you want to really kind of figure out the shot, you really need to move to the right as far as you can, and then throw up the lane to the right. If you see that ball going Brooklyn, obviously you're getting bounced from the outside, or you're getting that wall that we're talking about in bowling. So you start moving to your left, and moving maybe 2 to 1 out there on the lane, and just moving to the left until you finally get into the pocket. Now, once you overshot the shot, basically, now you're going to move back to the right, and you should be kind of logged in. Now you decide, hey, is this ball from where I'm approaching or throwing from, is this ball really getting down the lane, or do I need to change the surface on that ball to get it to go further down the lane? And if I don't want to change the surface on that ball, can I select another ball, another piece of equipment that will get me down the lane and get me to the pocket? That's when we start talking about that RG and the differential aspect of bowling, so to say. But basically, you're trying to figure out the shot. Start from the right side of the lane, start throwing, and basically you want to see whether or not your ball is recovering down lane. If it's recovering too much, then you're going to move in the direction of that particular movement of that ball. If that ball is going to the left quite hard, then you're going to move to the left until you finally get that ball to come in to the pocket, so to say. If you get the ball not coming in the pocket and it's leaving that bucket or that soft two, then you're going to move back to your right. And that's usually on the house shot, basically.
So after throwing it for the first 2 shots, I threw it with the Zen Master, and the first shot I went Brooklyn. So I just told myself, let's just move a little bit left and just get it out to the right a little bit more, and then we hit the pocket. I want to see if there's something that is a little less whippy. It looks like it's just really whipping on the back end. I don't know if we want it. Typically, if you're warming up, do you want to throw 2 shots and then work with another ball, or do you want to try to get at least 4 shots in with that first ball you're working with?
Well, as long as you know that you're throwing a good quality shot, that's the thing. If you're throwing a good quality shot, there's nothing wrong with going to the Zen instead of using the Zen Soul. The Zen is going to go a little bit further down lane, and then you're basically saving a little bit of energy on another ball, and it doesn't bounce up and leave you the 4-pin. You got the Zen, you've already locked in and everything else, and that's probably the best move to make a lot of times. But it's up to the player, because the player themselves is really watching that ball, seeing if it's going to push through the pocket, with that shot the next time, so to say. But that's how the balls are designed nowadays. One is to step down from another ball, because the surface is, like I said, 70 to 80% of your ball reaction. And so if you go to the Zen versus the Zen Soul, you may be able to get a little bit more motion down the lane, and you don't get that 4-pin every single time.
Copy that.
Stored energy, doing it not so well. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Just show me, man. You just keep the computer and I'm just gonna get warm. I'm 3 shots in. Let me just, you take your time, man.
So now I'm grabbing the Storm Trend, and I'm just trying to see how far left I can move. And as you're seeing, it is not giving me the reaction that I want. I throw it about 3 different times, and we're going to talk about it in a second, just as far as what I'm seeing, as far as what Gary explains to me, and we'll go into detail in it. But we're going to talk about red house shots and white house shots, and how this ball I selected here was not the best selection that I could have chose for this particular pattern. But again, we're just treating this as the warm-up, trying to get loose. These are like the first 3 or 4 or 5 shots. We've now thrown the Zen Master. We've now thrown the Storm Trend. And in a little bit, we're going to throw the Motive Primal Shock. And you're just going to hear us discussing the different balls, the cores, and the different surface. So I moved it back, right? I wanted to see where my misfit was. It went really far left. That's too much with that surface and not come back. So it just seems like it's gliding and not coming back. And then when I play right, it's just zoom to the left. I know that's a bad explanation, but good to go.
So we were saying that it's like a 43-foot shot. It's not a problem with that. The problem is trying to figure out what condition that you have out in front of you. And a lot of times with, just say the regular house shot, even if you say it's the regular house shot, what if I put a white pattern out there versus a red pattern? And a lot of people would say, well, what's a red pattern? Well, a red pattern has the oil built up in the middle, so that if you do move to the inside or to your left, as for a right-hander, if you move inside, you're going to get more oil, so you'll be able to push further down the lane. So you'll know which way that you need to make your adjustment in the future, so to say. But with a white pattern, your adjustment is going to be basically different than that. You're going to, instead of moving to the inside on a white pattern, you'll be moving back to your right, because you have more oil to the outside, and you have less oil to the inside of the pattern, because with a white pattern, as you move to the left, that ball starts going to the left or going Brooklyn to get back to the pocket, so to say. So trying to figure out whether or not your ball is It's basically that white pattern in front of you at 43 feet, or is it the red pattern in front of you at 43 feet? You can do that just by basically trying to get your ball, trying to get your feet a little bit left and get into the oil if there's any oil there. If there's no oil there, you're just going to keep going through the nose. And you're going to try to do what? Naturally try to throw it harder and harder. Right. And it's not going to work for you. And then you'll find yourself having to move back to your right. And very few people are, in the regular world of bowling, basically the league world, can say to themselves, I know this is a white pattern, or I know this is a red pattern. The only thing you can do is go out there and throw your ball and let your ball be your guide.
So something that I can accomplish today is just identifying, is this a white pattern or is this a red pattern based off of the shots that I've thrown?
Correct. Totally correct.
So far, as I move left with the trend, I've noticed that it just gets into more oil and it's not wanting to come back. So based off of that, that would be the red pattern, is what you said?
Pattern. Correct, the red pattern.
Okay, so with that being said, I want to go back to the Zen Master just because I feel like if I do move left, it will give me that pop that I want with the bright cover stock. So I just want to see what that looks like for a second.
Excellent.
Now, that ball wouldn't have came back. And knowing that, having the confidence to know this ball's not coming back, I need something that does right now. Maybe the trend can be used later.
Maybe later. Exactly.
Maybe later. And now I can see, because sometimes. Okay, so I'm glad that I switched back to the Zen Master there because, again, with the trend, just with the how it's pearl, like it kind of has that pearl kind of cover stock, it doesn't want to come back on the fresh. Maybe that'll be good for game 2, game 3.
Exactly.
And identifying that early in the warm-up session, I think is something that I want to get better at, and that's something that I want to get better at today. So that way, if I do go into a tournament, those 5 shots you get, they're critical.
You make the best of it. Exactly. You make the best of it. You got to say to yourself, I'm out there. I only have this short amount of time. I have to throw something where I know the ball motion. That's number 1. And I have to throw something where I know that cover is going to be durable for that particular first part of the game, so to say, at least, to keep me from getting behind and keep me from losing sticks as I play. But I have got to get that cover and core matched up basically as I throw in the beginning of the game. And you did that.
Awesome.
Does this ball, I'm trying to see whether or not the bowling ball goes through the rack to the left. Maybe it'll leave me a wrap 10 because it came in high. But I'm also trying to see whether that ball hit and it hit too far to the right and it buried the 3-pin back into the 9-pin. And now that deflection has left me a 10-pin down lane. But every time you guys throw the ball, me as the coach, I have plenty of time to watch your ball go through the rack, whereas you're concentrating on just throwing a great shot. I have to see which way the ball go as your coach to be able to say to you, you know what, that's starting to creep up pretty high. We might want to go to something, or this is how you stay ahead of the shot. We might want to go ahead and move our feet a little bit, one board, maybe a 1-and-1 move to the left. So we're able to keep that ball out to the right instead of it jumping on us or something like that. Or we're able to go ahead and make that change of the equipment, get a different ball that we know will go down, but still have a similar move to the ball that we're throwing at that particular time.
And it's funny that you say that because one thing that I learned here from Don back in the day was just him telling me, post your shot. And the beauty of posting your shot is you're staring at the pins longer.
And that's the truth. That's so true. And I tell people, when you're way down to the floor throwing your shot, you can't see ball motion down lane. You're down here, 2 feet off the ground, throwing that great shot. Don't get me wrong. It looks beautiful, so to say. But most of the people like Belmo, they're up higher when they throw their ball. They're watching that ball motion. They're watching that break point down lane. They can see everything without their head moving. And they're watching. And as I say, as a coach, when I'm looking and that ball rolls through the pins, I'm looking to see, is it deflecting and bouncing off to the right, or is it driving straight through? And next time my shot might be a 4-9, solid 4-pin or something like that. Because I'm watching that ball travel, and it's doing what we all say, it's continuous through the pins. I hear that word so often and everything, but is that smooth curving through the pins or just punching through the pins?
Right. Are you just watching the pins explode, or are you watching the ball go through the pins?
Are you watching the ball? Exactly, Marshall.
Did something different there.
I lifted the ball up. I don't know why he does that. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it works. It does something. I move more left.
So now that I feel like I have a pretty good handle on my no thumb game, we're going to transition into the two-handed game and just talk about the differences as far as just the release goes, having the left hand on that side, and just any questions I may have. So here is how that looks.
Like I not slamming. Now when I watch it, it looks better.
The whole game is playing the track to the ball. Like pick that up. Look at it. Just get the release right. That's the main one.
On that, I just kind of got it back in there and then focused on the release more than anything. I was trying to keep the hop simplified, get to the release, get to the right spot and release it. See, that's the move. I love that. There's something to that where it's, and I don't know. 15 board, going to the end. And I'm waiting there. Not hard. 15 board, going to the end. And I'm waiting there. Not hard. But when you're trying to learn one thing, something else is going to suffer. Targeting suffered, your release suffered, but you could walk. you found out how to walk. You made it so simple. You said, "Fuck." Yeah, I did. Huh? What? You have to find shit that focuses you, and if you get the case,
Just wanted to say thank you again to Coach Gary Otis for taking the time to work with me. And if you made it all the way through to the end of this lesson, we'll be doing these about once a month. Make sure you like, subscribe for the next one.